Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing our last Q&A leading up to Season 7, Episode 12 for the Walking Dead television series. It's called Say Yes. And spoiler warning, of course, if you're not caught up for Walking Dead. So just going to finish it up for this week. Some last Q&A questions. No topic in particular for this one. Just going through some of your guys' final questions before tonight's episode. And then, of course, for this week, we'll have a new round of questions for lots of Q&As coming up afterwards. So we do have a new sneak peek with Rosita and Tara. It's brief. I'll put the link in the description to undeadwalking.com so you guys can check it out. And it's basically them, discussing the need for guns and then Rosita not wanting to sit around and wanting to go find them. She also stitches the her cut that she got from Arat when there was the stuff going on in the mid-season finale there. So it's okay. So check it out. It's not too bad. I'm fairly interested to see what Rosita does next because she's just on a rampage. The other one was from The Big Bang Theory. Sheldor in brackets, he says, "Hey Trev, do you think Rosita is way out of line this season, telling everyone off? First with Spencer in episodes 4 and 7, then with Eugene in episode 7. Then with Sasha in episode 9, then with Tara in episode 10, and it looks like from the promo she'll be back at it again in episode 12. So thoughts? Yeah, absolutely. Some people poked fun at her being pregnant. Maybe that's the reason why she's being bitchy to everybody. Right? Yeah, it's starting to get a little bit old, I want to say. Like at the beginning of the season, and I was okay with it up to about episode 9 when she snaps at Sasha. But her snapping at Tara as well, too, really, it doesn't make as much sense because it's like, what did Tara do? Tara's kind of one of those people that if you snap at them, there's probably something wrong with you, right? Because she doesn't give you a reason. She's nice to everybody. And, she's not demanding or anything like that. She's just nice and supportive. So if you're angry at her, then there's probably something going on with you, right? That's the kind of character that she is. So some people are getting pissed off at Rosita complaining a lot. So we'll see what happens with the character, and I think they'll switch it up pretty soon anyway, because it's going on almost the whole season when all she's doing is yelling at everybody, so that's true. Scott Weinberg says, Trev, do you think you'll do a review for Logan? Hearing great things. So, man, I can't wait to see Logan. I'm a huge Wolverine fan. Wolverine is my favorite Marvel character by far. I think Hugh Jackman has been more than incredible at playing Wolverine, being willing to do so many X-Men movies and that over his career. It's just fantastic. So I can't wait to see it. When I do see it, I'll do a review for you guys. Sorry I didn't get one out, an opening a week, this kind of thing, as I usually do, just kind of bogged down and busy with all kinds of stuff going on. And, of course, the daily Walking Dead videos as usual. Other stuff like that is kind of stuff I'll do afterwards, which I will still do, but when I get time. Walking Dead is priority with you guys. So, but yeah, I can't wait to see Logan. It looks fantastic. Claudio Ranieri says, "Hey, Trev, Q&A, do you think her pregnancy is the reason why she's so bitchy?" There's the comment I was mentioning. Morales Live says, "I'll tell you which Walking Dead character isn't bad for ratings." A bunch of dots. So that was pretty funny. So the Morales comments usually are bad, but okay, I got to give you that one. That was funny. I did laugh at that one. I'm Joker28 says, "Hey, Trev, Q&A. Could you do a top 5 funniest characters in the show?" So, I mean, there's lots of characters in The Walking Dead that are pretty funny. I want to say, I'd have to think about the placement in the order. But you're looking at, Abraham. You're looking at Eugene. Dale had some funny lines here and there. Him and Glenn had some good banter back and forth about Maggie and stuff like that. So this is pretty funny. Of course, it's not a comedy series at heart, but there's some stuff. Negan I find to be very funny, even though it's kind of a dark humor and some of it's a bit sadistic. I do still think he's pretty funny. And then after that, I'd have to think about which characters cracked a lot of jokes. I can't think of too many. Daryl used to be... Actually, Daryl was really funny in the first couple seasons, if you remember. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch the first couple seasons again, and you'll see. He's actually got some really funny lines earlier on in the show. Or when, you have Maggie and Glenn, they're in the tower, and he yells up at them and asks them if they're coming. So that was, there's some funny lines throughout The Walking Dead, and he doesn't have too many funny ones anymore. But that was pretty funny. Kuhn says, "Hey Trev, what do you think about the group having to go into the ocean side and possibly attack them or slaughter them? Might be an opportunity to show how brutal these survivors really are." So Kuhn, you want them to attack. a group of women, kill them all. Like, okay, no, what? No, the audience would like never forgive them for that. You can't have them go to the ocean side and attack them and kill them. That just doesn't work. If they're going to go to the ocean side and they're going to try to get them to join and get their arsenal, all their firearms and everything, it would have to be in a peace offering. It would have to be in an allied type situation. You could not have these survivors go in and kill all the girls and have that be okay. I just don't. No, the fans would never forgive that. It'd have to be in a voluntary manner. Dr. Smarty Pants says, Q&A Trev, where the hell is Carl and all the Hilltop people? They were only in episode 9 so far. Don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of the TV series version of Carl since the actor isn't as badass as the comic book version. Or he says, I'm not a huge fan of Carl because he's not as badass as the comic book version. And that's true. You're right, absolutely. I've done videos like that in the past, lots of them, where, the comic book series version of Carl is one of my favorite characters. The TV series version of Carl, it hasn't really been adapted in the same way. He doesn't feel the same to me. He feels like quite a bit of a different version of Carl, and he's not at that level for me in terms of like my favorite characters. But you're right, there's so many communities, there's so many groups, and there's so many characters that certain ones are going to fade into the background. Carl and Enid have not really been seen except for the one episode they had earlier on this season, and Carl getting some time in the premiere as well too. Click Zip says, goddamn, this show has a lot of pregnant women, lol. And it's funny, it's like, you see this in real life too, especially with Facebook and stuff like that. One girl will get pregnant, and then all her friends will get pregnant right afterwards. It's like, oh, babies? And then they all want babies. So it happens. What can you say? Garrett Ames says, why does Negan trust... I'm not saying that's always the case. I'm just kidding, guys, right? Why does Negan actually trust Dwight? With all these shenanigans going on, you would think there would be a few other saviors that were more loyal than Dwight with these drama with less drama and baggage than Dwight. So that's a good question. Why does Negan actually trust Dwight? Yeah, I think Negan's in a position where the way he leads is not like the way Rick leads. It's not like, Rick and Daryl go way back to the beginning, so their camaraderie and everything, and they care for each other and they'll do everything to protect each other. With Negan and Dwight, their relationship is a lot different than that. In the comics, I think it's actually different, too, than the TV series, because in the comics, they meet each other, quite a bit earlier on, and they kind of do grow to have a, it seems like some kind of friendship or definitely respect for each other. In the TV series version, it could be something similar to that, but we don't know the whole backstory behind Dwight and Negan's relationship. However, from what we've seen from Dwight, you got to question why Negan would trust him at all, because he has turned his back on him, but then he returns back, so maybe he won Negan's trust back when he comes back of his own accord. But I would say that, yeah, definitely Negan would have to be, especially the part of Sherry getting away and him not bringing her back as a zombie or something, that definitely would be an eyebrow raiser, I would think, and Negan would be like, red flag, red alert. Dwight goes out after her husband, and she doesn't come back, and he says she's dead. It's kind of one of those, like, really, Dwight, is that really what happened? That kind of thing. But I guess Negan believes him. So, Dwight is one of those characters that nobody can really trust. But at this time, Negan doesn't really know that. So, and it's not like Negan has too many people he can trust either. We've also seen Simon take credit for things like the alcohol and that. And so, yeah, it's kind of the way the saviors are. They're mostly untrustworthy. Most of them are probably untrustworthy, and it'd be difficult for Negan to find people he can actually trust because he's probably looking at people all over the place, ready to turn on him at any chance, right? Trev Shan Rules says, hey, Trev, did you get a Heisenberg Breaking Bad vibe when Eugene stopped in the lineup with his back to the lady and then stole all her shit? I'll call it grumpy gank line was hilarious. And one of the reasons I love Eugene as of late as the character, well, he's really funny. That's true. He is funny. I didn't really get a Heisenberg Breaking Bad vibe, but I'm excited for Better Call Saul, so I can't wait for that. But yeah, there was some good stuff in there for Eugene. If you're a fan of Eugene, no doubt you're going to like episode 11. There's no question about that. Q&A Trev, the doctor was thrown into the fire when he told the truth. Would the result have been the same if he kept denying it? Kind regards, Kevin from the Netherlands. I actually think that the doctor kind of screwed himself when he lied about it to try to get out of the face burning. If he would have actually just continued to tell the truth and say, no, I didn't, and get his face burnt, he might have actually survived it. Because he flipped and he actually got so scared that he actually lied about it, it also made Dwight look like he was telling the truth, right? So the doctor kind of screwed himself by switching his stance when it came to the punishment, because then Negan's like, oh, I am right to do this. I was right. Dwight was telling the truth, right? So right now, Negan trusts Dwight probably even more, even though it was definitely a lie, completely a lie. Dusty of Canada says, Trev, did you notice there weren't any Walker kills in episode 11? Is this the first time that it's happened in The Walking Dead where we haven't had a single Walker kill in an episode? I don't think so. I think there's other episodes we've had where there aren't any zombie kills, or if there are, there'd be only like one or two. But yeah, zombie kills always helps. Having a whole bunch of zombies in the episode always helps. But it is a couple years into the zombie apocalypse now, and you do have some communities that are quite safe. You have communities like the Kingdom, where if you're inside the Kingdom, you don't really have to worry about killing zombies, and same with Alexandria for the most part, and same with the Sanctuary, I would say. So, yeah, it's just kind of how it is with the episode. But they could have thrown a couple in there. That would have been kind of cool. Oh well. Connor L999 says, hey Trev, do you think we've seen the absolute last of Sherry now that she's left the Sanctuary? Do you think Daryl may run into her on his way back to the hilltop? So we talked about this a little bit this week. I do think we'll see Sherry again. I don't think she's gone for good, but we may not even see her this season. It might be next season that we run into her, we see her. But I don't think she's gone for good from the show, but the actress does have some other things she's working on, so we'll have to see when that syncs up and when they decide to bring her back. I'd like to see her back this season because it's a current storyline, but we'll have to see when they decide to actually bring her back. Last one will be from Rafael Narvez. He says, hey Trev, for the problem is that The Walking Dead has become a 3 out of 8 episode series. By that I mean you watch the first episode, you can miss episodes 2, 6, and then come back for 7 and 8. And, I've heard that a lot where I think, was it Honest Trailers or one of the things like that where they said, pretty much every block you're looking at, like the premiere is good, the finale's good, and then you can pretty much skip most of the episodes in between, right? And that's kind of the formula, or they break it down. They've got a formula where they look at it and they say, like, something along those lines of where the premiere is good, the finale is good. Like you're saying here, maybe the lead up to the finale, the 7th episode and the 8th episode are good. It depends on the half. It depends on what you're looking at. I think that there are some seasons where if you were to do that, if you skipped episodes 2 through 6, if you look at this half, episode 10, you get to see the Rick versus Winslow fight. You get to see the Junkyard group. It's an awesome episode. You get to see Daryl reunited with Carol again. For me, these are critical moments of the show, and if you were to skip them or you didn't see those, I don't think that just the finale. It's not just about the character deaths. It's not just about the action sequences, the zombie kills. We also have to have the great character connections in there. And episode 10, where you have Daryl reunited with Carol, that's kind of a must-see moment, I think, for Walking Dead fans, I would say, right? So at least for me, that's the way I see it. Also, this season as well, too, you got to remember, part of the effect could be they're introducing places like the Sanctuary, they're introducing the Kingdom and those take up a couple episodes. They chose to use a couple episodes for each of those for casual fans. Comic book fans, we already know about these locations, so it doesn't do as much for us as it would do for your casual fan, because for the casual fan, it's 100% new. For us, these locations and the new things they're adding in, we already kind of know about that, right? We know who Ezekiel is, we know about Shiva, we know about the Kingdom. When they show us a TV series version, it's cool, but it's not 100% new to us. It would be to other viewers, so it's a bit tricky to say. I do kind of understand what you're saying, though, and I do kind of get to where you're at with this one. But personally for me, I'm not just watching The Walking Dead for the character deaths. The shock value and the big events and the big fights and things like that are the most exciting part of the series, as there are with any series, like the season 7 premiere, for example, and the build up to that. But, I mean, there's so many great episodes that are not finale episodes. If you look at 18 Miles Out from season 2, that's not a finale episode. It's incredible. A Killer Within is kind of a regular running episode. Four Walls and a Roof is another regular run episode. It's not a premiere. It's not a finale. Let's see, Thank You is another episode that's in the middle there and of season 6, and, with kind of the fake out death and then the real death of Nicholas. So there's some really exciting episodes that aren't premieres and aren't finales, and I don't necessarily agree with that 100%. But of course the finales and the premieres are really good, as they need to be with any show if they want to keep people coming back the next half, and they want to get people amped for the half that they're about to watch. So it's kind of a necessity. Me personally, I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, but I don't agree 100% because I think there's a lot of really great episodes. Now you did say that it's kind of becoming more like that. The first half of season 7, you could probably say like, yeah, okay, those episodes aren't that good. The first episode was the best of season 7, and then 7 and 8 were amazing, but there was a good number of episodes in there that weren't that good. Noted. I get that. The Hilltop episode wasn't that bad, though. I'll say that. So let me know what you guys think. Write your comments below. Of course, enjoy the hell of the episode tonight, guys. Hope you guys are still feeling it. We've got a few episodes left here of season 7. So hoping that we still get to see a good amount of stuff happen. And maybe tonight, if we see Rick propose to Michonne with the Say Yes title, that I think, that could be another moment. And also the moment where Rick and Michonne hook up for the first time anyway is not a premiere, it's not a finale, right? So, I think that pretty much every episode for me, as a huge fan of Walking Dead, is mandatory to watch. The same as every episode of Breaking Bad if you're a Breaking Bad fan, or Game of Thrones if you're a Game of Thrones fan. That'll be it for this one today. See you guys tonight for the review and all the usual videos, guys. If you like this one, please thumb it up below. Have a great Sunday, guys. Enjoy it. And, subscribe if you're new, bottom left. That's it for this one. See you guys tonight. It's Trev, same peace. Later, guys. See you tonight.